Well, we have an update, and it's some good news. So we received a few days ago notification from Colombia that our dossier was accepted and we were accepted to adopt in Colombia. So just like with the I-800A, how we had to send that to the US government to be accepted to adopt within the United States, to just be an adoptive family in the United States, we then had to send over to Colombia to be accepted in Colombia to be adopted. So that was approved. Good news. Okay, so the next step is then they are going to send all of our application, dossier, like the whole thing, over to Jose's social workers, like his agency where he is at. And so it has to get sent over there, then they review it, they go through the whole thing, and then they would approve us to adopt him specifically. So because we hosted him, he was essentially kind of like reserved. Sounds weird. He was put on hold, reserved, for us to be able to do this whole process up to this point. And so the likelihood that we will get approved is very high. It does happen on occasion that we do not get, that people do not get approved who hosted, but the likelihood is very high. And when we are approved, that means that we receive our referral. That child has been referred to us to be adopted. Now, if you are a family who did not host, I can't speak exactly how it is for every single country, but I imagine there are some similarities between hosting and not hosting. I can only truly speak for Colombia. But if you are a family who did not host, who just started doing the adoption process, went through getting your home study, your dossier, all the things, you sent it over to Colombia, the Colombian government approved you to adopt in Colombia. What would happen next is your whole packet, your whole file would then go into their system, and the important part in that packet would be your list of characteristics, especially of special needs, and just the things that you listed in the home study, things that you would want in the child, age, gender, different things. All of those things kind of essentially go into their database, and then they start searching for a child that matches all of those requirements that you put in. Once they identify a child that they feel like matches those requirements and would match your family, would fit well into your family, then they would issue a referral. The referral sometimes can go fairly quick, maybe like a couple, 2 or 3 months. However, sometimes it can take years, depending on the child you want, especially if it's like a baby or toddler, small one. Those can take longer. I have heard of families waiting like up to 10 years to receive their referral. I don't know how they emotionally handled that, waiting 10 years. I just praise them, because I don't think I don't know. Maybe once I was in that circumstance, in that situation, I would be able to do it, but that's not something that I would choose willingly go into. So sometimes a referral can take a really long time, and I've definitely heard of people waiting a long time to get a referral. So that's why a lot of people will make their requirements much more broad. They'll accept older children, children with special needs, because those are children that are definitely more readily available than some of the others. The timeline for us, as far as we know, getting our referral, because the child that we hosted is already essentially, like I said, reserved, is like 2 to 3 weeks. So we're looking at probably another 2 weeks to hear back. So what are we doing in the meantime? Once we get our referral, that's when our adoption agency has said that our next adoption payment is due, which is a whopper of a payment. Like I said, the adoption agency that we're working with this time is more expensive than last time, and I think our other agency broke the payments up into smaller, like more payments, so they were smaller each time. But this payment this time is $14,300. Yes. So, we do have some of that set aside. We also were fortunate enough to receive a grant for $5,000. And I'm going to be working on filling out some more grant applications. I've done 3 applications, and we did not receive 2. No, wait, maybe I did 4. I did either 3 or 4. But we received one of them. That's just how it goes, They have a lot of people who are submitting, and they can only choose so many, based on different criteria. So I have, I think, 3 more that I'm wanting to send in. And I couldn't submit these 3, though, until the referral was made. That was part of their requirements for submission. Others will have like a requirement of, you can't submit it until right before travel. Or, it can be submitted anytime as long as the adoption's not completed. Or you can't submit it until you have your home study done. So these 3 are until the referral comes. So I've started working on them, getting them all filled out, getting all the things ready, so that when the referral comes, then we can pretty much just send them in. I don't have to start working on them then. Unfortunately, the payment will be due before we hear back if we received the grant. So we've got to come up with the money on our own, whether it's through working extra jobs, loans, donations, fundraising, whatever it is. And then the nice thing, however, is if we do get one of those grants, then our adoption agency has told us, and I'm hoping that most adoption agencies would do this, but they've told us that if we received a grant, that they would reimburse us for that portion. Say like we got a grant for $3,000. The adoption agency would then reimburse us for that $3,000, which is fine. Which is fine because we're still going to need quite a bit of money for travel, for hotels and airlines, and just all of the things that have to happen in Colombia while we're down there for 5-6 weeks. So, not only do you have to continue paying your expenses on bills and things that are happening here at home, but now you're living away from home. It's like, yeah, you're living away from home. They even want you to, be involved in bonding time, which is great, but it's kind of like vacationing. So you're going out and doing things in addition to just the adoption things that have to be done, which still is great, but that's an extra expense. So another note is on grants. Some grants will pay the money directly to you, which means we wouldn't need a reimbursement from our agency. They would just send it to us. Other grants send the money directly to the agency. So that's when you would need a reimbursement. And you need to talk to your agency and just verify that, yeah, you will be able to get a reimbursement, because if they're not going to reimburse you, there's not much point in filling out those grants, because some of the paperwork, some of the things they want can be quite lengthy. Others are simple, but some can be very lengthy. Okay, so that's where we're at. We're just waiting for we're waiting to hear back on that referral. Once we get that referral, that hefty bill is due. So in the meantime, it's hitting the grindstone with, making up the difference for, between what we have and what we need to do extra jobs, fundraise, and on and on. And if we have to do a loan, we'll do a loan, but we always work hard and do the best we can to not have to do that. And we have been very blessed and very fortunate, I feel like, to have many good friends and family who have helped us out. Even, just little $5 here and there kind of things. It all adds up, and we've been so appreciative for all of them, for the love and support that they have shown us. So again, as always, thank you for joining us as we create our adoptive family. And don't forget to also subscribe, share. If there are other people that you know of who are looking at adopting, these things might be helpful. That's why I'm doing it, because my experience, our experience, I feel like could help other people along their journey. So share, like, subscribe, all those things. All right, until next time, bye.